So we went out and we did our free play with Sully. He got to go out and play with friends. We did our training walk. Now we're doing our bed. We have all the 8 kids home from school. So it's a little more crazy than it was this morning, which is perfect because we practiced a few times this morning. Now we're going to practice this evening, and you can hear the chaos in the background. And we see the balloon going on. She has one of those fun punchy balloons, and the music is going, and we have more schoolwork going. We have someone making a lot of noise in the back, and it's just going to be a fun time with Sully learning to be calm, cool, and collected on his bed. Hey, how's it going, Iris? Good, how are you? Doing good. All right, Caleb, go ahead, buddy. What? You want to be crazy? Crazy enough? Go. Do it. Go. Give her one. I'll do it. You're just going to scream right here. Good. Smiling at you, look at him. Good job. All right, you can all stop. So there, Sully did so awesome. We had the kids running. My naughty Dalmatian who tried to get off his bed and run with the kids. He got off a couple times. You saw me use a little bit of distance pressure. I used the leash. But look at him. He's even laying down now. That was beautiful for his, this is still our first day. This is the end of the first day. I know these videos are coming on day 2, but technically this is still the evening of the first day. And he is doing amazing. All right, sorry about that. We got cut off. Someone called the phone, so it turned the video camera off. All right, so I have my hand position. I have my leash at the right length, and now we're just practicing. You've learned 4 tools so far. You've learned the flick. You've learned the zigzags. You've learned the direction change, and you've learned that patient sit. And so we're just going to sit right here with those 4 tools for the rest of today. And we're just going to practice. So we're just going to keep going for these walks and keep practicing. Across the road. Alright, here we are with Sully. We're going on a walk here. So remember, the first thing I check when I go on a walk is my hand position. I want that straight arm. I want my hand behind my back. Slightly. Get my hand here on this side. I want it to be loose, but whenever he gets too far ahead or behind, then there's pressure on the leash. He's smelling something in the air. I don't know what it is, but we're smelling something. Oh, we're having a little brain fart. So we're just going to sit and wait for a minute. Then we'll walk again. You go, Miss Willow. Let's go this way. Turn. So I get asked a lot if the dog can sniff while we're walking. Absolutely yes. They just have to learn to sniff right here beside us. Not to sniff ahead or behind or all over the place. I want that nice loose leash. So that means they gotta sniff right here with me. You can see they're starting to get pressure on the leash, so I'm just doing some little flicks. Correct that. Flex. There, I just want this nice loose leash. I've flicked a few times for correction, and he's doing well with it, but I have to keep doing it. So I'm going to just do some zigzags while we walk. You can just see I'm zigzagging from one side to the other side. The other question I get asked a lot is about using the bathroom. A lot of times people's walks are made for them to use the bathroom. So how do they use the bathroom? And that's a great question. They can definitely use the bathroom. What we do is we find a spot where we want them to use the bathroom. I lengthen out the leash and I tell them to go potty, and I give them a minute to just kind of free roam on a long leash. Once I feel like they're done, or they're just marking, or they're not doing anything or ready to go back for the walk, I put them right back in this nice hill position and we start on the walk again. So they can still do everything, but they need to first do it with politeness, right? So we're just gonna watch for, we all know when our dogs need to use the bathroom or their favorite spots to go. So once we get there, we'll just lengthen the leash out and let them do it. In just a minute, once we get out of this subdivision, I will show you. This is a no potty trail, so he can't potty on this trail. So I can't show you here.
There's a lot of ones like that need a body. I know that's not there.
Doing some zigzags again. You saw his into flick. I'm gonna do a direction change. Willa got ahead of us, and so Sully wanted to get ahead too. There, we're nice and calm, trying to smell the flowers. So I'm gonna turn back around now and go back towards Willa again. And if we can be calm, cool, and collected, we'll get close to her again. She's just ahead of us, running ahead, picking up worms from the rain today and putting them back in the grass. So nice. Do some direction change because my flickings they're working, but I'm having to do them too often. I don't want to have to correct that often. Oh. We're gonna have a reset where I just lift up and have him put his thumb down, take a break. Remember, we do a couple dozen of these, or a dozen at least, each walk. Can be 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's just a random time, so he learns how to sit there patiently. You can see he's doing really good. I mean, we have lots of room to grow for sure, but he is doing so nice out here. All right, so before we go out a door, I'm gonna lift up the weight of an apple and I'm gonna have Sully put his bum down. To go out, I'm gonna open the door. If he stands up, I'm gonna shut the door, lift up the weight of an apple, and start all over again. My goal is to get Sully, to get me out the door, and then Sully out the door without him lifting his bum up. So I'm just gonna hold him to the end of the leash. I'm gonna step out. He started coming. I'm gonna step out. He started coming. I'm gonna step out. There. Now he's sitting nicely. To get him out, I'm gonna tug the leash. And he's like, "Are you sure?" Once we get outside, I'm gonna lift up the weight of an apple again, and I'm gonna have him put his bum down. As soon as his bum goes down, I release, and then we can go on our walk. Anytime I come in and out a door, I need him to sit, be calm, and come through when I invite him, never just barge through. Alright, so we like everything awesome to be associated with the beds. So that means we're going to feed them on their beds. So here we are with Sully. We just put his food down on his bed, wanting to eat nice and calm. Same thing with Camp, and we're going to let them eat there. We're going to let them digest there. You can see they're both wearing the leashes around their neck in case they get off. I can help them back to their bed, but they're not wearing it around their noses. He was just wanting to carry the bone off somewhere, but I just let him know, like, you can't carry the bone off and hide it. You got to eat it on your bed. If they did stand while they were eating, that is okay. But as soon as they're done eating, their bum has to go back down. So if someone needs to stand to eat, that is totally fine. They can stand up on their beds and eat their food on their bed, but as soon as they're done eating, you'll apply that pressure, have them put their bum down and take their bowl away. So they can't just stand there all the time. They'll stand, they'll eat, they'll move on. A lot of times, if we're spending extended period of times on these beds, a couple hours or anything like that, we actually bring in a raised water bowl also, so then they're able to drink on their beds too. So then they'll have food and water right there on their beds. If it's just short amount of times, less than an hour, they've had food and water, or they've had water in their rooms, I don't necessarily bring the water bucket out here. because I have to move it back and forth each time. But having water where they can drink it, if it's their spot where they're going to stay all the time, would be a great idea. So then we're just meeting all of those happy needs in that spot, so that it becomes this place of just happiness and joy. All right, so we have the kids on their beds. We have the staff coming in and out to collect dogs to take to the kennel. So we're just going to watch the kids with making sure they stay on their bed, even though the dogs are coming in and out. I'm going to turn on our Alexa from YouTube. It's called Noises That Drive Dogs Crazy. I'm going to turn it on full volume, and I'm just going to let it play. And we're going to go about our normal day. We're going to act like it's all normal. I'm going to knock on the doors and pretend like I'm answering them. I'm going to just do all sorts of distractions and kind of up the distractions to help them learn how to stay on their bed calm, cool, and collected no matter what is going on. Echo. Alright, so here goes the sounds on the Alexa, and you can hear the dogs from the video barking, you'll hear some whistling, you'll hear some bells and cows mooing. I'm going to start knocking on the doors. Bree has a couple more dogs to bring in and out, so you'll be able to see her walk through the house with dogs. And we're just working on being calm, cool, and collected on our beds, in that position with our bum down, either in a sit or a lay.
So you can see there, Sully stands up. So Jennifer applies that distance pressure with her body language by standing in front of his face. And then as soon as Sully puts his bum down, she's going to go back to the distraction. So there's Sully got off his bed. Okay, she's going to grab the leash and or kind of herd him back onto the bed, get him to put that bum back down, and then walk away again. Okay, so we're giving kind of more of a high energy pressure when he's off the bed, and he's going to be calm, cool, and relaxed when he's on the bed. Okay, she's going to correct again and go back to what she was doing. So this is why it's so important to practice this when you have time to practice it. And when you can really focus on the dogs. Okay, Sully's being triggered the most when the door opens. So people knock, and when the door opens, okay, that's when Sully's getting off the bed. He's watching for that door to open. Okay, so this is why it's so important to practice while we have time to practice and when it works in our schedule. That way, when you actually have to open the door, or someone actually comes over, or some of this high energy comes around, the dogs are ready to handle that, or we know if they can or cannot handle it, and whether or not they need to be out practicing or back in their room or their crate or wherever that is for them, just having some of their relaxed time elsewhere.
Alright, here we are with Sully. It is day 2. If you remember, the first thing we check before we go on our walk is our arm position and our leash position. So my arm is straight down, it is slightly behind me, and the leash is short but loose so that Sully can stay at a nice heel right beside me. See our legs to legs? That's what we're wanting. He's excited. He loves going on walks. So this morning, if you remember, we have 4 steps in the training program. Free play, training, walk, bed, reflect. Free play, training, walk, bed, reflect. Free play, training, walk, bed. We'll just do it over and over again, right? Those are the same 4 steps you'll do at home. Free play, training, walk, bed, reflect. So we had our free play. We're on our training walk. We'll get home and do the bed, and we'll reflect. Yesterday we learned 4 tools tool. So you've noticed I've done a few little flicks. We have a flick as one when he creates pressure. We have the zigzags. We have a direction change. And today we get to learn the last one. As soon as he creates some pressure, I'll show you the last one. It's a rollback. Just like that. A rollback is where the dog is walking forward, you're walking forward, you abruptly take 3 steps back, or a few steps back, it doesn't have to be exactly 3, and then you walk forward again, making the dog turn around and walk backwards, and then turn around again and walk forward. We're just creating more work for him. We're saying, if you're pulling, it's going to be more work for you. Slow down, walk with me, and it'll be an easy walk for both of us. No one's got to work extra hard. So that's all it is. So as soon as he gives me some pressure, I'll give you a roll back again. There we go. Roll back, walk forward, and that's it. So those are your 5 steps for walking on a loose leash. So again, my arm is beside me, so anytime there's pressure on the leash, I need to do one of those 5 tools. Caleb, get away from the road, please. We want to use any of those 5 tools. I need Sully to walk on a loose leash so he can learn and progress. The foundation of our training is the leash work and the bed work. And we need both in order to progress. My plan isn't for Sully to have the transitional leash over his nose his whole life. My plan is for him to learn and grow. But he's first got to conquer this before he can grow. If I feel that Sully needs to use the bathroom, excuse me, Caleb, we'll walk out to where I think he might need to go, extend the leash, and let him do his thing. He just wants to eat the grass. So then I shorten the leash back up, and we move on. I figured he didn't need to use the bathroom because we just had our free play, but I wanted to offer as he did keep trying to sniff at the trees. So I offered, he didn't need to use the bathroom, so we just keep going. Hi there. So I said that I don't want him to stay in the transitional leash with it over his nose forever. There's a few different steps to helping him get there, but it does take months and months of work. It's not a quick fix, let's be done, move on. So what happens is first, Sully has the transitional leash over the nose, I correct him and he listens. His next step would be, Sully feels the pressure, like right there, and he would self-correct. He's not self-correcting yet, but he'll get there. After he starts self-correcting, he'll learn just this muscle memory of staying right here and seeing me out the corner of his eye. Then he's ready for me to take the transitional leash off the nose. Once off the nose, I start back with me correcting him. Then eventually he'll move to correcting himself. Then eventually he'll move to just staying right there in that spot. And then he's ready for the off-leash simulation, working towards that. Again, these are months, years down the road. It takes a long time to get there. But I just want to point out you'll never be able to progress if you don't conquer this first step. First step is, anytime there's pressure on the leash, you correct so he can walk with this nice little curl, loose leash. If he can't walk with that, he'll never be able to take the transitional leash off his nose. So we're just going to keep going. We're also, remember, we're going to practice this reset or this patient sit at least 12 times on each walk. So we're going to stop here for about 5 minutes and just practice watching the cars and all the people with dogs walking past. Good morning. I flicked a few times. Sully's still excited because we're walking towards the house, so he's listening, but he's not listening long enough. So I'm going to do a different tool, right? The flicking wasn't enough, so I'm going to do some zigzags along with some flicking. We just need to find which tool works best in each moment for Sully so that he can walk calm, cool, and collected on a leash. Now he's doing better. Look at this. That's nicer.